When you think of running, it's probably a lot like what you see on social media, with a lot of the highlight reels, the run clubs. A lot of runners have a really strong sense of community, and training with other people can definitely take you farther. But when you spend the majority of your time training alone, whether it's by choice or because, like me, you just live in a smaller town with less resources, it's definitely difficult to stay motivated. When you commit to something by yourself, you're the only one keeping yourself accountable to those goals. And there are definitely days that are a lot harder to wake up early, to take care of your body, to eat the right foods. It can become really easy to just do whatever you feel like. So today I'm bringing you with me to help keep myself disciplined and to get these 14 miles done and recover properly. All right, good morning and welcome to today's video. In this episode here, I'm pretty much just going to bring you along for an entire Saturday of my life. As somebody who kind of trains by himself, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit more of my pre and post run rituals, if you will. So we're going to cover some of those topics today. I got some electrolytes right away and then some coffee. Try and keep the dairy and the sugar low before I run, so we stick to just black coffee. And then for our electrolytes here, we use this sports drink, which is like a total, I don't want to say an off-brand, it's becoming a brand, but this is as clean as it gets. This is a really big part of my running journey, as I want things to be as healthy as possible, so I can do this for as long as possible and feel really good. So for some of the things in here, you get 300 milligrams of sodium per scoop, so I usually do 2 scoops of that. And again, we're talking pure cane sugar, lemon lime powder, sodium bicarb, and then all your electrolytes. That's it. No natural flavors, no artificial flavors, no citric acid, none of that stuff. It's just super basic, simple ingredients, which I love. So yeah, today will probably look a little bit more informal than most videos, but I thought it'd be nice to just bring you guys along, talk a little bit more about health, about food, all the other stuff you see. I feel like you get enough running montages and clips of me running and stuff. I thought we'd do more talking and kind of experiencing everything else that goes into training for a marathon. And today's my day off. It's been a super busy week at work, so I thought this is a perfect day to kind of just bring you along and hang out for a bit. So we got a lot of things planned, but I do want to get out there before it gets too hot. It's 67 right now, but it's definitely going to get really hot today. So we're going to get our stuff ready, and then we are going to take off. All right, just made it to the park here. Sometimes we run in the actual park, which is that 1 mile loop, but they're doing construction on it, so you can't do a full circle. You have to stop and then go the other way, and it's so annoying. I can't do that 14 times. I don't like to turn around. I like to just run straight. So we're gonna go to this reservoir right here. So we'll head up here, and that's a 4.5 mile loop all the way around. So that's much easier for us to handle. I would much rather do that, because if I go around 2 times, that's 9 miles. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 5 more to do, which some of that I could run on these back roads back here, or I'll just do another lap and a little bit more. So that's kind of the mindset here. And then for shoes, Nike Vomero 18s for my easy day shoe. All right, we're just about to start. Look at this place up here. I don't love the gravel that you have to run on, but it's so quiet and peaceful. And if you run all the way up and around, it'll end up being 4.5 miles, which is perfect. So that's what we're gonna do today. Sylvia's doing her own run. You have a long run?
Yep, 9 miles. Hopefully.
9 miles.
Well, not hopefully. I'm gonna do it whether I walk or not.
So that's 2 full laps around, and I'll do 3 and a little bit more. Or like I said, I might just go down there and run on some of those roads, depending on how I feel. It's just nice to change things up sometimes. So sun is up. It is 6:50 in the morning. We got to get started. So let's get this thing going here. Watch says I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's run. Just under 10 minutes for mile 1 for the warm up here. We'll pick it up just a little bit on this next mile, and then we'll get into some of the race pace mileage. The sun is just peeking up over those trees, so I know it's about to get a little warmer, but I haven't even really broken a sweat right now, so That's kind of nice. Let's go a few more miles. We'll check in again. All right, right before we hit mile 3, where we're gonna do some race pace mileage, we're gonna get our gel taken. There's a limited amount of dumpsters to get rid of these at, so I'm like, well, I don't wanna hold trash for a while, so let's get this one taken here. Humagel, caffeine, double electrolytes, 100 calories, 21 grams of carbs. Very slow at taking gels. Not during the marathon, but during training. All right, back to it. All right, at mile 4.5, we got 7:31 for that first mile at race pace. I'm gonna grab another gel from the car. I feel like I was really slow to start that. Like, I had a hard time speeding up, but once I got in rhythm, it felt great, so. All right, just finished mile 6, 7:38 for that mile. Going back down to 1 or 2 easy miles, and then we'll do another race pace here. Feeling pretty good. Like I can do all the paces and stuff, but it always makes you think like, man, holding that pace 7:30-ish for 26 miles would be crazy. And like, I feel like that's a fair feeling to have on week 4 with 12 weeks to go and a half marathon to race in September, but it always makes you think, right? All right, we're 11 and a half miles in. I think we're done with race pace mileage. We hit quite a few, and we pretty much hit pace on all of those. I think sub 7:40 for each one of those. So we got about a little less than 3 miles left just to get off the gravel. We came to the park here. We're gonna do some road running here for the last 3, and then we'll finish up and kind of get out of here and focus on recovery. All right, just hit mile 12. I ditched my earbuds after mile 5 because I wanted to carry the Pocket 3 and my water bottle, so I chose content creation over comfort. But I think it's good to run without it sometimes, just to like help you to focus. But I mean, I have no problem with running with earbuds. It's definitely helpful, kind of distracts you, and you can definitely get pumped up. So wow, well, that last mile took about an hour. Definitely started to lose some of that energy. Right after we hit mile like 12, things really got slowed down just a little bit. So either way, it's done. 14 miles, long run complete. I think Sylvia got her 9-mile long run done as well.
Thank you.
Forgot to bring my water bottle inside, but it made it the entire way home nice and safe right there. Hello. Be quiet. Post long run smoothies have become a trend that I'm really loving. Kiwi Quencher is the best flavor. I don't know how much you guys care about run stats or any of that stuff, but I like to look at it after I'm done just to kind of make sure I'm being as efficient as I can. So my cadence, if you care, was 176 average, and my heart rate average was 151. So nothing too crazy. That run took me 2 hours and 7 minutes. It also says on my Koros app here that we burnt 1,800 calories. So I know we need to replenish some of those. This will certainly help, but I never feel like eating as soon as I get home. It just doesn't sound good. This is easy to have. Electrolytes are easy. We'll get some of those. But I usually wait like 30 minutes before I get any actual like solid food. So we'll get our shower done, get some comfy clothes on, and then I want to show you my post long run recovery breakfast that I've been sticking to for the past couple weeks now. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. All right, shower complete. Let me show you what we have for breakfast for our post-run recovery meal. It's kind of hard to say. All right, come with me into the kitchen. It's huge. It's very spacious. We have some eggs being cooked up right now as one of our sources of protein. Go ahead. Good. Very good. Then we have, excuse me, we have some, woo, that's hot. We have some breakfast sausages in there. 3 and 2. There's only 5, so I'm guessing I get 3, you get 2?
Or I get 3.
No. And then for our carbs here, obviously we have the tropical smoothie, but we have this bagel right here. All 3 of them I'm going to have. No, I'm going to have the Dave's Killer Bread. Cinnamon raisin, don't make fun of me. It's not good, I know, but it's a nice change it from blueberry. And then I'll put some butter and honey on that. And then, let's see here. Last but not least, come into the fridge with me. No green beans, no pork. I just want this True Goodness organic milk. I would get grass-fed, but they don't have that in a gallon, and we needed more today, or more for this week. So anyway, we'll go with that. And then I have some Levels grass-fed whey protein. I'll put like only a half scoop in there, and that's going to be close to 50 grams of protein for all of that together. This is the protein powder that I use. Grass-fed, not very many ingredients in there, really clean. One scoop is 24 grams. We'll probably do a half scoop, which is 12. No natural flavors, I know. Plus some protein in the milk. So yeah, we're looking at about 50 grams for all of that. I've done the math on that several times, and that's kind of been my go-to breakfast only after the long runs. I try not to make a habit of eating bagels after every single run. I like bagels a lot, but they're not very good for you. So my goal, my focus has been variety. Variety is king. Obviously, I could just eat 6 eggs and have a smoothie. That'd be pretty good too. But I'm trying to get a variety of different sources of protein. So you have like the whey protein, you have the eggs, which is a complete protein. The sausages have, I think, 10 grams for 2 or 3 of those. And then the bagel has some protein, but mainly I'm using that as a carb source along with this giant smoothie that I still have half of that to go. So that's kind of my focus after these long runs, is just refuel after my shower. Like I said, it takes me a little bit before my stomach feels good. I just don't feel like eating anything. And then when it comes to electrolytes, I'm not going to get those yet. I still got to finish a little bit I have, but I've been using the packets, the mixed berry Numa. Those are organic as well. I literally just ran out of this sports drink mix this morning, so I won't be able to use that. I have an orange one coming in the mail, but that's not available yet. So that's going to be our spread for breakfast. Here is our official meal now that it's done. Try your best not to pay attention to my cat, who is trapped in that bag, being chased by my other cat. But don't underestimate this. This is a lot of freaking food. But I definitely struggle with eating food. That seems so dumb, like as a runner. It's usually easy to eat a bunch of food. But I think it's easy when you start drinking a smoothie and you're like, oh, I feel okay, to just like go lay down and rest. But I'm like, no, I need to get some protein. I need to recover my muscles, my body. It needs nutrients. Like, it needs rest too. I may take a nap today, I don't know. But it needs food, and I struggle to get that in, so I have to put an effort into actually like making meals that I enjoy, trying to keep them healthy, and eating them, because I don't always want to eat food, or I just want to eat fun food, like, you know, pizza and stuff like that. But I'm trying to do better at eating good amount of protein after my run, so that if I want stuff later in the day, I'm ahead on the calories and the protein, stuff like that. So anyway, that's our meal. We're gonna sit here and eat it, and then probably watch some YouTube for a while. It's usually just what we watch while we eat our food. It's really entertaining, actually. All right, break it up, you two. I just took the greatest nap of all time. I usually do this thing after I do a long run, where I do a social media nap, where I just lay in bed under the blankets, but I'm on my phone. I'll scroll, watch a YouTube video, just write some ideas down for 30 minutes, and then I get out of bed. So I didn't really nap, but I rested. But this time I just laid down. I'm all right, so a couple things I need to write down. Passed out. And then next thing you know, an hour went by and I could not wake up. I was so groggy. So I know that, hi, quit yelling please. I'm talking to the camera. So after a nap like that and how groggy I am, I know I'm gonna want some caffeine. So I'm gonna make an iced latte. I'm gonna kind of show you how I make one of those bad boys. And I've been getting a lot of headaches after I run recently, mainly the long runs. I've been doing a pretty good job with electrolytes and carbs and things like that, so I'm just trying to eliminate what could be causing it. Could be tight muscles around my neck and stuff like that. But one of the reasons I was doing some reading online, they were saying, get some coffee after you run. You're burning through so many reserves, and I don't want to say I was burning through caffeine sources. I can't remember what it said. Doesn't matter. All I'm saying is the other day, I had done everything really well with my food, my hydration, not just electrolytes, but plain water as well. I did enough of both. I was like, man, I'm just not feeling good. But they said something about get coffee after you run. If you're a coffee drinker, I'm a 1 cup, maybe 2 cup a day kind of person. So I had a cup of coffee and my headache just within 20 minutes was just slowly going away. So that could be it. And I don't have a headache right now, but I want to make sure I don't. So we're going to take you into the coffee shop. here we are, and we're gonna make a coffee right here at the coffee bar. Now, Sylvie and I have a coffee subscription where we get like a bunch of these bags sent to us so we can like try different stuff. So we have this organic one here. I try and get mainly organic coffee because coffee's the most heavily sprayed like crop with like pesticide. So it's pretty bad for you at times, and organic really minimizes that. So we got two different kinds. This is the newer one right here, so I'm gonna go with this right here. Not too bad. We got a double shot of the espresso here. Sorry, I'm probably screaming into that mic. And then here is our finished product. The moment you've all been waiting for. 3, 2, you know what? 5. Actually, you know what? 15, 14. I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. Look at that. If that doesn't look good to you, then you probably have like a mental problem. Look at that. Let's do a little flyover real quick. I'm not gonna do any effects with that. But anyway, that is my iced latte. And we have no clean straws. Very quick taste test. Not bad. Maybe I made it a little bit too sweet, but we had just a little bit of that sweet cream left. I didn't want to leave like this much in it, so I just dumped it in. But a little sweeter than I would normally make it, but still very good. I think a double shot of espresso is going to help wake us up. It's about 1 o'clock right now, so I'm going to drink some coffee here, do some off-camera editing of some YouTube shorts and stuff. I've been trying to put out a lot more YouTube shorts. I know that can really help grow your channel. And sometimes I really like making short-form content. I know like long-form videos like this can be really intimidating because I'm a perfectionist, so I have a really, really hard time putting this out there and like hitting public, like making this video public. Like I have a really hard time with that because I have some other nice cameras and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I want to make this look as good as possible. I want to plan every step, but I'm also like, some days I just want to chill and pick up this little vlog camera and like bring you guys with me places. So I think that's something I'll have to do once in a while, and just depending on what you guys feel about that, if you like that, if you prefer the other method, like you feel more inspired if I put together more of like a cinematic project, if you like that more, I'm fine if like everyone's in the comments is like, nope, we like you putting effort in because not as many people do, or you're like, no, I see a lot of that curated content that's like a bunch of like highlight reel stuff, and it just seems like it's too scripted and not enough people pick up the camera. Then I want to be one of those people that do. I just want to be, I guess, a little bit different if I can. So, all right, so I'm going to get into some editing and then obviously work on this coffee here. We got to get into our post-run recovery routine because obviously I ran 14 miles today. I ran for over 2 hours. I had like 25,000 steps already, but that doesn't give me a pass for the rest of the day to just like sit and just tighten up and be stiff and sore. So I want to try and break up, loosen up any of those adhesions that might form. And there's a couple ways we'll do that. So we'll get into that, but I want to work on my coffee for a little bit and get a video edited. So we'll do that and we'll catch up again. There are a lot of different aspects to recovery after a long run, especially. We talked about food, getting carbs and protein right after that a little bit. And then we've kind of touched on hydration a little bit. Obviously you need enough water to carry the electrolytes and the sodium and all that stuff into the cells and hydrate you. So you can't rely on just electrolytes. So I had some before, during, and a little bit after, and now I'm just drinking plain water right now. And then we'll talk a little bit more about our meal tonight and stuff like that. But one of the very important parts is to undo some of the tightness and the soreness that you're going to have. And I'm always tight and sore, and I have problems with shin splints, and I don't do a good job typically focusing on recovery. My version of recovery is just saying, well, I put in 24,000 steps this morning. I get to sit on a couch and edit and watch movie and do whatever. So I'm trying to be good by just forcing myself to do like 5 to 10 minutes of work
I know that's not a lot, but it's better than doing nothing. And for me, it's doable. So I know it is super freaking boring to watch somebody foam roll and stretch and massage. So I'll kind of just briefly run you through my routine very shortly and just show you some of what I do to keep my body feeling loose and to just help mitigate some of that soreness. Because I also do a short run on Sunday. So I used to do long runs on Sunday, but with church and stuff, I was getting up at like 4 in the morning. So I decided I'm going to do it on Saturday and then do a very short, easy, slow recovery run. So that's why I want to get my body feeling good so that we can feel good for tomorrow. So here's kind of what I do for some recovery for my body. All right, phase 1, this thing right here, which is actually just like a foot roller. So obviously you're taking all those steps during the run and like your foot is stretching out like that. So that can pull on that plantar fascia sometimes. And this is helping kind of loosen that up just a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll just throw that bad boy on the ground. And then it's also good for ankle mobility. So sometimes I'll just like go really fast like that. And then sometimes I'll use one of these sides and like really push in there and just roll that. So I'll kind of do a couple different ways there, but I do that on both feet. This thing feels pretty good too. I do this before I run sometimes and then after, but I'll do that sometimes for my feet. Now I have some serious issues with my calves, not really my calves, my shins. So I know my calves need some work. So obviously there's like some basic stretches you could do. I always do the old fashioned wall stretch where I'm just holding that for maybe 30 seconds to a minute total. And I'll do that on the other side. And then there is the stretch where you're doing this for that soleus muscle and you kind of lean into it and get the other side of it. So I'll do that on both sides. And then the other thing I do for my calves is I foam roll, which never feels good. I'll only do it for maybe a minute each side, but I will just go through, just push right into it like that, and then I'll turn it to the side and then on the inside. So I'll just go through that routine for like a minute and then I'll swap sides and do it on this one as well. So stretching and foam rolling is what I'm doing, and then obviously when it comes to strengthening like calf raises, that's kind of all I do. I'll also do this for my hamstrings too. So, you know, like I said, a minute, maybe 2 minutes each side. Sometimes I'll do a little bit on the IT band, but after I'm done with that, most of my work I do with this super cheap Chinese brand massage gun. Then I'll just turn that on. That I use for my IT band more than anything. I don't know, it gets really tight sometimes. I never get IT band pain on my knee. It's always on my hip, so I just kind of push through that a little bit. And then if I'm feeling bold, I will use it on my calves once in a while, but if I hit that bone, it hurts so bad. So I'm kind of cautious with that. Achilles, calves, I'll just do that for a couple minutes each side just because it feels good. And then another thing I found out is I have really, really bad hip mobility. So a couple things I do for that. This one looks really dumb, but it does feel good and it helps. I do one of those, it's like a peeing dog stretch, or what is that? Hip circles is what it's called, where you basically kind of like bring your heel to your butt, and then you kind of just draw a circle, and then you go the other way. So I'll do that on both sides, just kind of like loosen up something like that. And the other one I think is really effective is doing those like knee touches, where you kind of go in and out for rotation. And I try and make sure my knees touch the ground on each side. You know, do about 25 of those, and then you can do all your normal static stretching that people do. But that's kind of something as far as just hip mobility I think feels really good. So I'll work on that for a little bit. And the last goofy looking thing, because I'm a chiropractor, we got to do some spinal mobility so your back doesn't lock up. These things right here where you'll kind of get in all fours and then you'll...
Cat-cow.
Cat-cow, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll arch your thoracic spine, and then you'll kind of drop your scapulas all the way down and then kind of look up this way. And I'll do a couple of those.
Oh, she's gonna do it too.
Nope, you gotta go up and down, Mert. Up and down, very good. So I'll do some of those. I will foam roll my back sometimes, but I don't like doing it too much. If anything, I'd rather just get my back adjusted. I feel like that helps me more than this does right here. So obviously recovery is important. There's a million things to do. There's a bunch of other stretches I probably won't show you just because it will take forever. But that's just like a really brief rundown. I'm gonna stand up, I feel better. That's just a really brief rundown of kind of things that I do to keep my body feeling a little bit better. So another one of those things that we do, we talked about food and protein. moving into our dinner tonight, we have some carbs and some protein and some treats that aren't super bad for you. So let's go take care of those. So for dinner tonight, we got 2 grass-fed ribeye steaks on the cast iron pan as we speak. And we're gonna turn those into like steak taco bowls. And then Sylvia's gonna chop up some peppers. We have some leftover bone broth cooked rice, which is really good for you. And we got a bunch of different toppings, avocados, sauces to use, different stuff like that. So that's gonna be our dinner for tonight. All right, we're definitely smoking a bit. All right, there's one. Not too bad, not too bad. Three, two, one. Is it good? Hey, not bad.
That looks good.
Good for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. All right, so here's our assembly line. We got all the steak cut up, and we just kind of load up our bowls with the bone broth infused rice. And then obviously steak is our protein for tonight. Carbs, protein, healthy fats, less healthy stuff, but still tastes really good. And we got some peppers in there too. Pretty good spread here for dinner. All right, and here's the recovery meal here for dinner. A lot of good nutrients in there, and then Sylvia got the Olipop here. Root beer for me. Peaches and cream. That peach looks like a butt, but that's what Sylvia chose to get here. To finish up our long run day, obviously you have to reward yourself eventually. I can't open this. I'm really trying on camera. I want to look strong.
You're gonna have to run it underwater.
Oh, dang it. I gotta run underwater. Hold on 1 second, please. Oh my goodness, finally. Obviously, you need some rewards once in a while. And for most runners, rewards are in the realm of food. So we have this Talenti dairy-free sorbetto cold brew coffee edition. That's what I'm going to use as my treat to kind of end this solo day of training. I say solo day, my wife goes with me, but I mean, like, I'm not in any run clubs. I spend a lot of time training by myself, which it has its pros, but it definitely has its cons when there's days like tougher workouts or tempo workouts that you want to run with somebody. And my wife and I just run at different paces, so like I don't want to slow down and run with her. She can't speed up and keep up with me. That's not good for either of us. We kind of just have to run our own miles, which is fine. It's a vibe. At least we're both out there together. Anyway, this is what we're ending the day with. I will not eat this whole thing, I promise. I'm the slowest eater of all time, and I will probably make it halfway through this and finish it up tomorrow on Sunday. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys. Oh gosh, get your butt down here. What? You don't even know about that.
All I can do is hear your voice.
I know. Thank you guys for watching a very different type of video. Like I said, I wanted to bring you guys with me on a full Saturday of eating, training, but focusing on recovery and some things that I'm trying to do to help my body feel as good as possible as we're finishing up week 4, about to go into week 5, where we're supposed to run 34 miles that week. So it's going to be a busy week. It's going to be a fun week, but I want to do my best to feel good for all that. Either way, thank you. Like this video if you appreciate this. Goodbye until next time. And let's end with this clip of my cat chasing a laser. All right, girls, go. Show them how it's done. All right, goodbye.